Hello, and welcome to Think Local First Radio here on Santa Cruz Voice. This is Susan O'Connor Frazier, and I have in the studio two guests from Santa Cruz Voice. We have two of the members of the board, the steering committee, whatever you guys are called. Michael Olson, who's one of the founders.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here on a Friday afternoon. Wow.
It's a beautiful day out there. And Bill Wolverton. Who
I just traded my driver's seat in that nasty traffic for the studio. I'm much happier here than there.
Yeah, it's nice. We're in a new home.
Yeah, it's we're settled in. It's pleasant.
Yeah.
1 block away or so from downtown Santa Cruz, just across the river.
Just across the river, right next to our friends at Hindquarter Bar and Grill.
There you are.
Yeah, so we can go over there for lunch, although I think Mr. O'Connor Frazier over there has other plans for lunch. But we're going to talk about Santa Cruz Voice. It's been a while since we've learned and checked in and how things are going. And so, Michael, tell me, when did this whole brainchild of yours get started?
Well, I'm not sure it was my brainchild. I think back when the local radio station threw out all of its local talent,
like you and
like
Bill.
Like me and everybody.
That's accurate.
So, well, they didn't throw me out. They asked me if I wanted to stay, and I just said no. I was going to just move on to my other endeavors. And Rosemary said on the way out the door, hey, let's all stick together, see what we can come up with.
And you did?
And we did.
If we had to pick someone, I'd say her idea, because I said to her, hey, we can keep doing this. We don't need to stop. And it was she who said, well, if we can do it, we can all do it. And she said, let's do.
So it was that germ of an idea that we can do it. And somehow we did it and are doing it.
Yeah.
And it's so exciting. And it's fun.
So you brought over a lot of the same people that were over
and
that.
Added a bunch to it. I think there's 34 of us now. We added a new person, Mari Segura, yesterday.
She did great.
She did great, didn't she? Yeah. So we have,
and she's on at 12, part of the Noon
Balloon crew. Yeah,
we brought along a lot more than we left behind, and I'm happy to say that. I'm proud to say almost everybody said, "Yeah, we're coming too."
Yep. So if you don't recognize Bill's voice, he's Rosemary Chalmers' partner in crime every morning.
Exactly. Co-host of the morning show, 6 to 9.
6 to 9. So a 6 a.m. show. When do you have to get started in order to make that happen?
Let's see. We're usually here right around 5. We were here a little earlier than 5 o'clock today doing show prep, and so I'm up at 3:30, and so is she, in order to get here by then. And
you must be in bed about the time I'm sitting down having dinner.
Probably so. Yeah, it's been a bit of a transition, but you know what? It was easy because, as Mr. Olson said, it's fun.
Yeah.
And if it's fun, it's kind of easy to do.
So your Good Morning Monterey Bay. Tell me about your show a little bit.
We start at 6 o'clock. And it's a very structured show. We don't take calls like most of the shows here at Santa Cruz Voice. We have a schedule of different things that happen every day. We have 3 hours with our listeners. And so we do the obvious things like tell them what's happening on the roads, tell them what's in the news, tell them what the weather's going to be. And we do that several times throughout the day. But we also have a whole lot of guests. We have regular people who come in. We've got the bird expert who talks to us. We've got a chef. Jamie talks to us once a week. We've got the science guy. You know, when there's a movie about the asteroid that's going to hit the Earth and some nerd with papers under his arm has to go into Congress and tell them all what's going to happen? We've got that guy on our show talking to us. Mark Mazzina is his name. And we've got another one who writes the journal for CERN over in Europe. And he comes on our show too. The science that we have on our show is just fantastic. And we've got a gardening fellow who comes on all the time. As Rosemary said, we need more women. We got a lot of guys who come on to talk about things. And if someone's listening who's an expert in something we don't have yet, yeah, we need you. It's maybe a nerd. If we could have a nerd on, that'd be good.
Yeah, we got some nerds on our air.
Yeah, we've got that. So 3 hours of doing that sort of thing, having guests on. And we also interview local movers and shakers. Oh, I left off our assembly woman. She's on with us once every other week.
Gail?
Yeah, and our local state senator, he's also on with us, John Laird.
John Laird, thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome. He's on with us every other week as well. And those are always good segments.
So before we get to your shows, shows? You have a couple of shows, Michael. We actually have a caller, and let's go ahead and take a call. Let me see if I can make this happen here. Okay. Hello, and welcome to Think Local First here. Who am I talking with?
Well, you've got Rosie Chalmers and Marie Segura calling you from Scotts Valley from the Senior Center here on a beautiful Friday afternoon where we are celebrating the ribbon cutting for Damien's Ladder.
Yeah, so I saw that was happening during the time I was going to be on the show, so I couldn't come and enjoy the wonderful lunch you've been probably enjoying there.
Yes,
delicious clam chowder, yes.
Yeah, I hear. I mean, this is Collie, is her name?
Callie.
Yes, Collie Gruzelak. Yeah, she founded Damien's Ladder, and it's a huge turnout here, I have to say.
It's very nice
turnout. It's packed, and lots of delicious desserts are going around, and we have dignitaries, and the chamber, of course, are here, and various and sundry individuals. No, it's very nice, and it's just a lovely way to sort of make it official, even though it's actually already up and running, and they already have handymen that are going out and doing work within the senior community free of charge.
Yeah, we have a lot of volunteers. There's people doing data input and Hi, Michael. It's Marty.
Marty's our brand new host. She started yesterday.
Right.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, how was that, Mari? Did you?
It was great. No, it was great. I enjoyed it immensely. I had a good guest from the Highway Patrol, and Michael was there since it was my first time, and Rosie asked me to give her a chat after and just to tell her how I went, and I told her that the guys thought I did well. So there you go.
Oh yeah, you did very well.
Yeah, they both gave you 2 thumbs up over here. So, well, I'm not surprised that it is packed over there, Rosemary, because they've been advertising it, and people say there's no such thing as a free lunch. Well, apparently today there is.
There is. Yes, she made, I believe, 200 hand pies, which are filled with blueberries and raspberries and strawberries, and 4 kinds of cookies, minestrone soup,
clam chowder,
and the clam chowder. And you're right, it was a free lunch, but it's very nice. It's lovely to see the enthusiasm. Some of the handymen were here and taking a bow, as well they should. They're retired contractors and plumbers and carpenters and the like. And this is just going to go from strength to strength.
It's a great program. It's really something what we need for seniors that has been needed in our communities for so long. And, long ago I used to do care management in El Dorado County, and it was a program that I did. I started one so that I started interviewing people before they were hired and having them fingerprinted if I could. But I'm not shocked that they didn't do it back then, because it's like going into seniors' homes is like going into children sometimes, They don't know what's going on sometimes, and they're helpless. So you want somebody who's reliable and who's decent.
You can hear our Mari's really shy.
Well, that's what you wanted, somebody who's not shy. I like people. But anyway, it's a great program.
Yeah, Damien's Ladder is what they're talking about, and it is a really great program. So, Rosemary, how are you liking being on Santa Cruz Voice?
I'm loving it, and I am loving that studio. Don't you love it?
It's beautiful here. It's so nice. It's really, our prior studio was great. We were very fortunate to have the place to do our first year, but it's wonderful to be here in the Satellite Work Center here off of Soquel. And like Michael said, we're just a stone's throw from downtown Santa Cruz. So it's convenient, and it's just very great energy inside. So, Mari, tell me, what can we expect from you on Thursdays on the Noon Balloon every week? You there?
I gotta go.
Oh, you gotta go.
She's serving.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for calling.
I've got a question for Rosemary before they go. Rosemary, are you still there? Nope, gone. I was going to ask for contact information. Also, why there's a Christmas tree there? We just had the longest day of the year yesterday, and at the Senior Center in Scotts Valley today, there's a decorated Christmas tree.
Wow.
I'm befuddled.
It's a mystery.
It is a mystery, and it's going to remain so.
Wrapped in an enigma.
Yeah.
So that was cool to get a call here. So if you're wanting to talk to any of the people that are, or you want to ask questions about Think Local First, but about Santa Cruz Voice, give us a call. The number here is 831-265-5050. That's 831-265-5050. And give us a call, and we will take your calls and answer your questions, I hope.
So I want to pitch something before we're totally done with Damien's Ladder, who do God's work, by the way, in my opinion. I heard Collie say they have room for more volunteers. Right now they have 6 handymen. It could be a handy woman. And she said, if you're a retired contractor and your wife wants you out of the house, a good thing to do is to volunteer. So I didn't get to ask him for contact information. If that describes you, you can email me. I'm bill@santacruzvoice.com. And if you want to volunteer, you contact me and I'll connect you with the people who could use you.
Yeah, like Rosemary and Mari said, they are providing services to seniors throughout Scotts Valley and the San Lorenzo Valley, primarily. Things that, simple things to more complicated things, and that are just a little bit challenging for the seasoned citizens.
Yes, I sat next to one. She was very nice, and she told me that the volunteers came by and they cleared all the flammable brush on the perimeter of her property. They helped her move her firewood.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that doesn't just help her. That helps her neighbors and the whole area, right?
Right.
For protecting against fire.
Especially going into fire season.
Exactly.
Looking at what's going on in New Mexico and thinking, hopefully not this year. Hopefully this year.
Damien's Ladder folks do good work.
Yeah. So, Michael, we've got about 2 minutes before our first break. Tell me what
well, first and foremost, going back to when all of this started, we have to be very thankful, those of us in Santa Cruz Voice, to Think Local First for being our godparents for a year and providing a place for us to exist. Also, J.R. Parish,
right,
as
home.
Well. Between the two of those, Think Local First and J.R. Parish, we had a place.
Yes, that was
and
wonderful.
That was a big deal. So we are most grateful. And we're most grateful to have an association with Think Local First because we believe we're doing the same thing, which is doing everything we can to build a strong local community. I heard that in your tortilla flats.
Yeah,
they're cool.
They're definitely one of our most active members, Tortilla Flats. So we appreciate them being a member of Think Local First.
I listened to that and I thought, now I know where to take my wife for some good Mexican food.
It's really good. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
So we had a really strong relationship with Santa Cruz Voice, and I think that association between our two organizations will continue. And the building we're in right now here is community television, so bringing together TV, new form of radio.
Very interesting possibility. Now, you folks from TAM Communications are very big in video and television, and now we're here in community television's facility. So how on earth can we bring these two legacy medias together to make something new and exciting for the community?
I don't know. Maybe there's
I don't either, but it's going to be fun to figure it out.
So we're going to go to our first commercial break. I urge you to stay tuned, and we will be back after these messages. And I want you to call in, whether you're part of Santa Cruz Voice or just interested in what's going on at Santa Cruz Voice. Give us a call. The phone number again is 831-265-5050. But meanwhile, we're going to go to commercial, and don't go away.
Hi, I'm Nancy, the tasting room manager at Bargetto Winery in SoCal, where we've been producing award-winning wine since 1933. Our tasting rooms are open daily at our SoCal location at 3535 North Main Street or in Monterey at 700 Cannery Row. We host weddings, receptions, and special events. Go to bargetto.com to find out more or call 831-475-2258. There's always something happening at Bargetto Winery.
The Hook is California's first ever cannabis outlet. 100% locally owned and operated, we're here to be your friendly neighborhood hookup. We believe that everyone should have access to fairly priced cannabis. So we work hard to get it to you for 30 to 50% less than the other guys. If you're 21 or older with a valid ID, visit us in Capitola or in Watsonville today. We're here to be your friendly neighborhood hookup. Check out our website, hookoutlet.com, for deals and stay groovy.
Hey, Warren, you know it's been a while since I've been up to your showroom and garden center in Scotts Valley. Maybe the folks out there might want to know where you are.
Absolutely. To find Knox Roofing and the Knox Garden Box Company, just head up into beautiful Scotts Valley. We're off of Highway 17 with only 2 X's to choose from. We're at 46 El Pueblo Road, next door to Scarborough Lumber and the beautiful nursery. We have a great showroom displaying all the many choices in roofing, from tile, composition, steel, flat systems in many styles, and now solar. And when it comes to wood items, we have It's All About Wood gift shop. And of course, the Knox Garden Box. What's a Knox box? Lots to look at. And while you're in Scotts Valley, check out the town. There's nice restaurants, breweries, wineries, shopping, hotels, farmers markets, and the entrance to the beautiful redwoods. Okay, folks, as always, we appreciate all of you out there. We'd love to see you at Knox Roofing and the Knox Garden Box store. And we can also come see you as well. Okay, thanks, folks.
Hello and welcome back to Think Local First Radio here on Santa Cruz Voice. I am in the studio. This is Susan O'Connor Frazier, and I have as my guest today Bill Wolverton of Good Morning Monterey Bay. He's on every morning during the week, 6 to 9 a.m.
Absolutely.
And he is the co-host with Rosemary Chalmers. And then we also have Michael Olson. Michael, you have 2 shows a week now?
3.
3, okay.
3. Can you believe it?
Oh, okay.
He has a guest spot on our show.
A guest spot, yes.
Okay.
I'm a guest expert on the Good Morning Monterey Bay
You're
every
exactly
Monday
that.
at 8:45.
Yeah, and what do you talk about? What's your guest spot all about?
Well, it follows in line with Michael Olson's first law of the food chain, which is agriculture is the foundation upon which we build all our sandcastles. Now, we city people sometimes forget that because we live far away from agriculture. So we think food comes from the grocery store. So every Monday morning, I step in and remind people that we have agriculture, and a significant agriculture here in Santa Cruz County. As a matter of fact, we have 682 farms.
Wow.
In this tiny little county.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I appreciate living where food comes from. I like knowing about it.
Yeah.
When I was 19, I worked in the industry, and I think everybody should for a time.
Everybody should at least remember it, because when it comes to the competition for resources, agriculture often loses to the city.
Oh, yeah.
Because the city has more votes. So that's what I think my primary job is just to remind people that we are only as good as our agriculture.
So that's your Monday morning time slot, but you also are
Thursday.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
What's that all about?
I join with David Welch, who's also on the staff of Santa Cruz Voice, and Nan Su, who is a writer a senior investigative reporter for Epoch Times. And we take the news of the week and we put it on the table and we try to figure out whether China is a friend or foe and whether it's going to be war or peace. And so there's a lot of news coming out of China, seeping out through the cracks on the Iron Curtain, and we try to look at it and try to figure out what it's going to be. Yesterday we talked about Xi Jinping's upcoming third plenum, which he's going to have to put all this information on the table about where he wants to take China as its supreme leader. So is he going to loosen up and let people do commerce like Deng Xiaoping did? Or is he going to tighten up and be a Mao Zedong and become the absolute dictator?
I got to say, your show, I don't often miss it. It's unsettling, if not scary sometimes.
Well, it's a scary world.
Well, you ask
a
friend or
scary
foe. Friend is not always the answer.
Yeah, that's right. So, and of course, we really don't know All we do is we put the news on the table and offer our opinions
Right.
on what it might be. And could be a wild guess, but we try to provide the information as best we can. So
You broke a story by 18 months. I heard something you guys were talking about, and I heard our major news sources talking about it a year and a half later.
yeah.
Wow. So that's
Well done.
3 to 5 on Thursdays. It's China Now. And then you also have something going on Saturday mornings.
Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., I follow up my agriculture with the food chain radio show, which I position as What's Eating What, because we're all on the food chain. So this coming Saturday, I pick up government programs. You know, the government hands out $150 billion a year to farmers. Here,
Nice.
take this money. Most of all of that money goes to very big farms or big farm programs. Very little of it goes to small farms or individual people. One does. And lo and behold, it's here in California. It's called the California Certified Farmers Market Program, in which the state sponsors an industry of farmers markets, certified farmers markets, which means the food you buy comes directly from the people who grew it. So you can look into the farmer's eye and see what's in the food.
And if they're not certified, they can't participate?
Well, if they're not certified, they can participate, but they can't sell their food at a certified farmer's market. So the state facilitates the certification process. So when you go to a certified farmer's market, you know that the food you're buying is the food directly from the farmer instead of being something that was grown in who knows where, Guatemala, and shipped in. And so it's real food from real soil, grown by real farmers.
So how many certified farmers markets do we have here in Santa Cruz County? I mean,
10.
10. Wow.
There's 10 certified farmers markets right here in Santa Cruz County. And around the state, there's, I think, 2,000 farmers that sell through certified farmers markets. So it's becoming a real big deal in a real small sort of way, facilitated by a government program, which I'm proud to hold up.
Good.
So what are some of the other programs that listeners should be tuning into? Because I know it feels
all of them.
Well, yeah, but some of us have to work.
And that's part of what we're going to be focusing on, is providing a facility that all of our programs can be stored and listened to at leisure. So because most people can't listen
live
all the time.
Otherwise known as on demand.
On demand.
Okay, so you're going to bring up can of worms number 1.
Uh-oh.
Because I know that there's been a lot of requests. I actually had one in my inbox from one of my former guests who said, "Don't you guys store these programs on your website?" And it took me almost a week to respond to it because I needed to figure out how to say it to them about where we are in this process, which I actually don't know, and apologize or not apologize for it taking so long for us to get what equates to a podcast kind of thing
Yes,
up.
exactly.
So tell me, where are we in this process so that I can tell my future guests? Next up.
Yeah, it's next up for us as a whole. There are certain individual hosts who are doing this already.
Right.
If you want to hear Raising the Standards, for example, you can go to Spotify, and they're already doing their podcasts out there. I believe that Zeus's show, Mental Capital, that's going to be up there already as well. He's doing it.
Food Chain Radio's up.
Yep, that's true. I don't know if Brian's putting his out yet or not, but that could be. So our goal is to be more uniform across all of our shows, all of our hosts, and we just need to lead by example and do that. I think I've got 2 or 3 episodes of Good Morning Monterey Bay out there and haven't had time to put anything other than those out, but I need to pick it up just like everybody else. So up next, as Mr. Olson says, when, if that's what you're wondering, remains to be seen.
Very soon.
It's a priority.
Yeah,
It
very
is,
soon.
I
It's
know.
priority number 1.
Is it number 1?
Yeah, priority number 1. Yeah.
And so
Well,
you
must.
mentioned Raising the Standards, which
Because
is
that will increase our audience hugely.
right.
Without much trouble.
Yeah, I would say so. And that's what people's tastes run toward. People like to listen on demand. I'm not someone who personally does a lot of that because I'm always doing something really active and I don't split my attention very well. But there are people who can, and they listen to podcasts all the time. So we know that that's something that people want. So we're gonna answer that.
But you're better at listening live too. You do both, both things as far as
Bill's very good at keeping track of our Santa Cruz voice.
Yes,
and that's so. I'd rather have him not listening to podcasts
and listening live.
That's true. I listen on my phone and I put it up over my sun visor so it's real close to me so I can hear it really well. I was listening to your show on my way here.
Yeah,
just that way.
And you listen sometimes while you're out walking, and I've
do.
heard you talk about that.
Well, I've been wearing hearing aids. Having been in the Navy, can't hear very well, but the Navy was kind enough to give me some hearing aids. And these hearing aids are Bluetoothed into my cell phone, so I can listen to it when I walk the dog and drive in the car. And
interesting.
It's so interesting because I was in Southern California driving up 101 in North San Diego County. And I was listening to Santa Cruz voice, and it was coming in just as if we're sitting in the studio.
Interesting.
And you, the same is true. You can be in Ushuaia, Tierra del Fuego.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that looking forward, Santa Cruz, California is a destination resort for the entire world.
Right.
I mean, people know Santa Cruz all over the world. And what we want to do is serve them as well as Santa Cruz County by being Santa Cruz County and a very interesting place to visit. Why not visit us on the web?
Okay,
internet?
I have to keep you honest on this. Do you know personally if they have good internet service in Ushuaia, Tierra del Fuego?
In certain places in Ushuaia.
Do they? Okay, because that's where you can hear Santa Cruz voices, anywhere where there's a good internet connection.
Yes, all you need is, and who isn't connected anymore?
Just about no one any longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a pocket in SoCal where I can't get a signal at all. So.
If you're talking about cellular service, Aptos is pretty notorious for that as well. I can attest to that.
So, how do you think, how is our programming, because what I find interesting is that it's really such a broad range of programming, from Raising the Standards, our 12 o'clock Saturday show with Michael Jacoby and Rachel, who, bring us music as well as some interesting call-in guests that happen there, to Mental Capital, which is on Monday afternoons, I think 3 to 5.
I think it's Fridays.
Fridays?
Mental Capital, isn't it?
No, I think it's Mondays.
I don't know. You work with the schedule more than I do. So, if you say Monday, listen to Susan. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, because we go from here to Community Matters to, to Danger Zone to Cannabis Connection. So you can go from cannabis to mental health in 3 days or less.
Kind of like Whitman's samplers, right?
Yes,
You never know what's going to be in the chocolate until you bite into it.
Now, we're not just people listen to Bill's show, which is not political, and then they could go to Charlie's show. Charlie Friedman's on right after you 5 days a week, and he goes from 9 to 11. I think it's more of a conservative talk radio. Would you?
I never thought of that, but that's kind of like going from the sweat house into the cold river.
Okay.
You get really warm with our show. And it's that cold plunge into Charlie's political talk.
Yeah, I don't know about Sweat House. That sounds, I think warm and cozy sounds okay. But
okay.
I jump on.
When it gets right down to it, Charlie's pretty cuddly himself. So he does politics, but he's also known as the genial genius of Watsonville.
Oh, yeah, he's very respectful of his callers and his opinions.
And he is very respectful of people who disagree with him, which is really what we are trying to pull together here.
That makes good radio, internet or otherwise.
Because there's nothing more boring than people who sit there and agree with each other all day long.
Well, I think if people are in lockstep talking to each other, that's kind of boring. But if people are just bickering, that bores me as well.
Yeah.
So when people can have respectful discussion.
Respectful disagreement.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And so we all over the political spectrum. It's not that we offer, and which is very
at one time or another. Yeah,
very representative of
Santa Cruz County.
Santa Cruz County, yes. And what we were talking about, Charlie. That was another bone or can of worms that we've been working on solving. Is that we have some very avid Charlie Friedman listeners who have talked about that we've had some technical issues, but it sounds like we've took a major step forward this week.
Did we
did.
ever?
Yeah, it's been vastly improved apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been having a terrible time with Charlie dropping off the stream. And so we thought the problem was the internet connection, but actually it might be
a hardware problem.
That we provided Charlie with some new hardware, and he only had two quick breaks yesterday, which is a world record.
I would say if someone listening now does listen to Charlie's show, and you can either confirm, it's better, or if you say, no, I still heard problems, call 831-265-5050, and you tell us for sure.
Yeah, no, because that's where we hear it. We hear it from listeners. I kind of get the emails from people that are saying this needs to be taken care of. And one thing they talk about is podcasts, archive shows that they missed one of your shows and they want to hear it. And then the second thing has been the fidelity of Charlie's programming. Yep. Didn't necessarily have that problem back in the old school radio that you have in this new world.
We had our problems.
Did you have
old school radio? Oh, yes, we did.
I'm not familiar with it. It seemed as pretty much steady as television and cable TV, and whereas when we try to stream programs, sometimes all of a sudden the other night we were having issues, and it's like, no, I want my Bridgerton or whatever we were watching that night, and I don't know how depressed I was. The only thing we were able to get was Paramount Plus and our Star Trek reruns that we were.
Wow, this is a first world problem.
It is.
Yeah, but we're spoiled now, so that makes sense.
I mean, it's like I love Netflix because they'll throw everything out at the same time and you can go and binge it versus all these people that make all these other streamers that make you wait like we did back in the days of broadcast.
But one good thing about being made to wait is the next day you could talk to all your friends about it.
Yeah.
Because you were seeing it at the same time.
That's true.
I kind of miss that.
So
there's good and there's bad.
Yeah.
That's advancement.
I miss them all, so I'm very good at that. That's my specialty.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a YouTube guy.
I've got some other people in my world that are YouTube people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you kind of, YouTube learns you. It has the algorithms that so kind of tracks down what you're looking for, and then throws wild curveballs at you. You go, oh, this is interesting, but.
No one's on before Good Morning Monterey Bay, so I'll play music for half an hour before we come on, just a compilation from YouTube.
Right.
It's gotten really good at learning the sorts of things I like to pick, and now its recommendations for me are pretty good. So it's getting easier and easier each day.
The algorithms.
For me to find something good to play.
I don't know. This whole AI thing scares the heck out of me.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Is that ever going to be fun in a weird sort of way?
Yeah, I know. We got a lot of things to look forward to.
But, I hope that having you and Tam being in television, as you have been for a long time, can help us come up with something to do with mixing radio and television. Or
video, at least.
Yeah, because it seems as though, given digital world, all of the media is growing into one kind of media. And so instead of having radio and television and newspapers, there's no reason they can't all be one thing.
Newspapers.
Remember papers?
Things you unfold, like a roadmap.
Well, we are coming up on our second break here on Think Local First Radio. This is Susan O'Connor Frazier on Santa Cruz Voice. And let's go to commercial. And when we come back, we'll finish our discussion about Santa Cruz Voice here on Santa Cruz Voice. So please stay tuned.
What's your family eating for dinner? Chef Ben here at the Back Nine Grill and Bar, where you can pick up family dinner that feeds 4 to 6 hungry people. Family meals include a full rack of ribs, a whole smoked chicken, pound of pulled pork, and plenty of barbecue sauce. Served with a full quart of baked beans, coleslaw, macaroni and cheese, dinner rolls, pickles, a side of onions, and for dessert, brownies with a pint of Mary Ann's vanilla ice cream. Call and order your family's dinner about 15 minutes before you want to eat. See you at the 9.
When you need help managing your estate, call on the Angel.
Hello, I am attorney Angel Hess, and I am ready to help. Whether you need a will or a trust, a guardianship or a conservatorship, or if you are managing the financial affairs of a loved one, I will help you with over 7 years' experience working in estate planning and probate fields.
When you need help, call on the Angel, attorney Angel L. Hess at santacruzlegal.net.
Cannabis is one of nature's most beneficial plants. Hello, I'm Jenna. Treehouse Dispensary, we use information about cannabis to build community. Listen to Xavier.
Thank you, Jenna. For those suffering joint pain, Treehouse suggests trying a CBD THC topical like the Balance Salve from local Santa Cruz company, Jade Nectar. Then enjoy the relief.
For answers to your cannabis questions, ask your friends at Treehouse Dispensary, 3651 Soquel Drive in Soquel, or ourtreehouse.io.
My friend Beth spent $70 a month, about $70 on prescription drugs. She went online and saved a bunch. And with the extra money every month, Beth buys supplies to expand her business.
90% of all prescriptions are covered. Check for yours at monthlyfeerx.com. Never again overpay for your meds. Monthlyfeerx.com. Get all your meds for one small monthly fee, rx.com.
Hello and welcome back to Think Local First Radio here on Santa Cruz Voice. This is your host, Susan O'Connor Fraser, and I am in the studio with Bill Wolverton. Why do I stumble over that Wolverton every day?
I only learned to say Fraser instead of Fraser just a couple weeks ago, so we're even. It's okay.
I can help you with that.
Yeah.
You remember there was a song, Don't They Say Don't Go on Wolverton Mountain.
He's right.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
you don't
never heard
you missed that one. Okay.
Yeah, people pull that out on me every now and again.
But it works.
Clifton,
Clifton Sprague. Clifton something.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, we are back, and we are talking about Santa Cruz Voice, and we talked before we went to break about whether the fidelity of Charlie's show and how it's gotten a lot better, and he's definitely one of our most popular shows on Santa Cruz Voice. And then the third can of worms, if I can open that.
Please do.
The third can of worms, whether it's and maybe it's not a can of worms, is the question about when are we going to get an app?
Same thing.
It's next or after the podcast?
It's together with the podcasting.
Together.
Also, it's tied for priority one. Because we already said priority one was
I know.
It's
on-demand
tied for
listening.
priority one.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
I would put the from me. I would put the podcasting before the app.
Podcasting we can kind of take baby steps. As I said, certain hosts are already there,
right?
So I think I would agree with you that's where the initial effort is going to be. But app is definitely the next one, and there's not a close third to those two. Those are our priorities.
Whether you're an app or you have to go to the Santa Cruz Voice website in order to play our show or access our show, I mean, it's just kind of like it's not that difficult.
For me, they're equivalent, but there are certain people just have that expectation.
Right.
So I'm with you. They're equivalent, but
yeah, because now I have a shortcut on my phone, and it's as good as an app.
It's as good as an app.
Yeah, I mean,
but people are asking for it, so we're going to provide it.
Right. And so for me, the idea of being able to provide my guests, which are primarily local businesses, with a copy of the show, either that they couldn't listen to and now they can, or they can distribute it to their customers. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, that's huge, because our job or our purpose in life as Think Local First is to be a marketing co-op that helps our local businesses survive and thrive. And not just businesses, we have a lot of nonprofits as well. And this show specifically is targeted at that, targeted at promoting the local businesses, especially those that are members of Think Local First. And
you're exactly right. Absolutely. And you know what? That's a very important part of the mission of Santa Cruz Voice as well, is to provide the local business community with a very cost-effective way of having their own voice, which is hugely significant and foundational to the survival of Santa Cruz Voice.
Sure.
And how does the local, besides our show, how does Santa Cruz Voice provide that platform for them?
Well, through all of our hosts have that ability to bring in not only guests on their show, but sponsors to their shows.
Right.
So by providing an audience, each of our hosts can provide a business with their own audience. It's kind of special in that regard, and we can put them on the air as well.
Right.
Yeah, we do both on our show. We don't just have the advertisers who sponsor us. If you listen, you'll hear, the sponsors are the same as when we were on another platform. For the most part, we have added a bit, but we also bring them in and give them a chance to talk to our listeners directly. And that's very valuable to them.
It was like your tortilla flats people.
Right.
When you put people on the air, you have people like me driving along the road thinking, oh, that margarita sounds so good. and it's it's beyond what you could do with a regular 30-second commercial. There's a lot more.
Yeah, so the fact that we're both local and live means we're just uniquely situated to help people promote their business that way.
Yeah.
Well, I know that doing the show, that Tam and I have now frequented restaurants we didn't even know existed. Gone to those restaurants.
And Treehouse too.
And Treehouse Dispensary is our new dispensary. We switched up as soon as we had them on the air, and was really so, and other things, events. We're talking about getting tickets to Santa Cruz Shakespeare. Is that the right order of it? Shakespeare Santa Cruz. I'm going to say it wrong. One of those is wrong. But, and then, Forks, Corks, and Kegs today is, we're going to be out of town, so aren't going to be able to attend. But being able to bring those voices of people that are working hard to make our community so vibrant is really nice.
I heard you talking about Tortilla Flats and saying it was really good. I don't know that. Tell me physically, where are they?
They're right next to where you work.
They're in SoCal Village.
Yeah.
They're.
Wait a minute. Maybe I have been there and I just didn't recognize the name.
Yeah.
Sort of garish colors, if I can.
Yeah.
They've just had a paint.
That is a good place.
They just had a paint job. They said on their website.
Purple and yellow or something like that. I can't remember. I work right there.
Vibrant colors.
Vibrant.
Better than garish. Yes, I think garish is not the right word you would.
But that's interesting because you work right there.
Yeah.
And yet you didn't know the name.
Stuff that's in my backyard. I even walk past there because I go to the post office almost every day. So I just don't look up and look at the name. It's the smell I notice, actually, on my way to the post office. So, okay, I'm familiar with that
and I think I've only eaten in that Chinese restaurant once that's right there as well in SoCal Village, right next to it.
And just uphill from there is, what is it? Not Tibetan or Indian. What is that food? There's something that makes curry. It's really good.
Yeah,
I've gone there as well. And there's another one across border from there. It's a Thai restaurant. Yeah, and that's good as well. So there are a lot of good places to eat right down in.
And also when I get my weekly Think Local First newsletter, that always helps me understand all of the stuff that's going on out there. And
I'll give you a tip for a new business to approach. Then
okay,
there is a bakery that has opened right in the same complex of buildings where I work. And the two guys who run it are really nice. I've talked to them. And if I had a sweet tooth, I'd be in there all the time. It's an Italian name, so I'm not going to try to do it. But
is that Maro's place? Maro Oliveri.
But could be.
Is Maro Aldo's?
Yes, Maro's the owner
I think
of
that
Aldo's.
might be. It's exquisite. I go in there and I appreciate it. And I say, I'm just going to get a slice of pizza, but these desserts look out of this world. But that's not my inclination. But I see more and more people outside of this business every day. But anyway, these guys are so cool that they would be a great interview. So you should approach them about that. Or I can connect you if you want.
Yeah, sounds good to me. We're going in July. We've got Gail from Gail's Bakery coming on. I think she's a returning member of Think Local First. I think she was a member for a while and they've renewed their membership, and looking forward to that because that's a place I'll drop in for breakfast or lunch or some brookies or something.
The world famous Gales.
Gales, yes. And
they know about Gales way down in Ushuaia, Tierra del Fuego.
Wherever the heck that is. And then I just got an email that Zach Davis from the Glass Jar that owns Penny Ice Creamery and the Picnic Basket and has had... They've tried a couple of times with downtown restaurants. They haven't been quite successful yet. So I'm interested in learning more about their venue because they had the Assembly downtown and then they had Snap Tacos for a while.
You know, Susan, that's one of the real interesting things about moving Santa Cruz Voice to downtown Santa Cruz is that all of a sudden, and I've lived in Santa Cruz for a long time, but have drifted away from downtown Santa Cruz. And downtown Santa Cruz is going to shortly become one really magnificent cooking kind of place when all of those apartments and condominiums and whatnot.
Because all the hungry people who are going to live there?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
This is going to be one interesting town. And being down here again, it's really interesting. I actually went into Del Williams Jewelers yesterday and haven't been in there for many, many years. And it's still the same people. It's amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you said that because on our show, we've been talking about the changes coming, and we've been focused more on the downsides of adding so many people and the sunshine being blotted out and that kind of thing. But the variety that's going to bring, as you point out, that's definitely an upside.
Yeah. I mean, I think that a lot of people, we have the same kind of thing happen up in Scotts Valley that people like, no more housing. We need infrastructure first, or they just don't want housing and don't understand that we're kind of under the state mandate that we're going to have to build housing whether we like it or not. So, but the same type of thing, all the negatives about especially the high rises. And
I'm as guilty of that as anybody.
Of complaining?
Yes. And so, as I said, I appreciate that aspect that you brought up. I
once had the opportunity to visit Monaco. And Monaco's right there on the coast, like Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And it's very, very old, and it's very, very high.
Not a lot of open space in Monaco.
Not a lot of open space. So when you don't have a lot of open space, you got to go up. It's the only way you can go. Or down. Right. Nobody wants to go down. At least not me.
I don't know. I think parking underground is a good solution.
Yeah.
As opposed to no parking.
Well, that is going to be the issue because there's no parking in downtown Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
So, boy.
Building scads of housing with no parking seems a zany idea.
So back to our Santa Cruz voice.
Back to Santa Cruz voice.
Back to Santa Cruz voice. We're talking about subjects that will be maybe discussed on our next show after our show, which is Community Matters. I know that they've talked a lot about some of the issues around building housing in Santa Cruz. But Santa Cruz Voice, we've talked about the podcasting. We've talked about Charlie's Fidelity. The fidelity of Charlie's
show.
His show's
Let's
fidelity. I don't want to talk about Charlie's fidelity because I have no idea. And building an app app. And you talked about giving a voice to local businesses. I mean, if somebody's out there is interested in being an advertiser in Santa Cruz Voice,
Michael at SantaCruzVoice.com.
You will hook them up with a media kit or something.
I love working with advertisers. I love working with local businesses to help them build their businesses. That is, to me, has been for many years the fun part, one of the big fun parts about radio. It is just fun to, and as you know, because you're in the same business, is to talk to a business, learn what they want to do, and figure out how to help them to do it.
Right.
And whenever I introduce Susan and Tam to anybody, I always tell them that you do the world's best television commercial because it's a boardwalk commercial. And every time I see that commercial, it lifts my spirit and I want to go ride the merry-go-round. And that sells. That is a selling proposition.
Well, it is one of our happiest places, so we can't call it that in our advertising because that's kind of taken by somebody else. But it is actually one of our happiest places. Go down there and to be able to be there and live.
Rosemary and I did that just yesterday.
Did you went to the walk?
We went and rode the Giant Dipper.
Yeah,
it's the only thing we did. We went down and rode the Giant. Well, no, she had an ice cream too. But that was a quick trip to the boardwalk, and it was worth it. 100
years. That's kind of crazy, you know, to think about that was built in like 24 days. You know,
was it really?
Yeah, in 1924.
But they've been building it ever since.
Yeah, they're constantly walking the track. They walk it how many times a day? Twice a day, and they to check it and make sure it's okay. And very rarely will you go there and have the dipper not be operating because of how well they take care of it.
It was full of smiles and happy sounds yesterday.
Yes, I bet.
And is that not Santa Cruz? I think it's right. Is this not a happy place?
Oh, yeah.
It is very much so.
So what else can we expect from Santa Cruz Voice going forward?
Well, we hope to grow and bring more people onto the air. So if you have a voice and are not afraid to use it, bring it to Santa Cruz Voice and put it on the air. Talk about what interests you. If you have a specialty, if you like real estate or if you like pets or anything.
Yeah, and the schedule is filled out pretty well, but it's not full. Witness just yesterday, we brought somebody new on, and there's room for more new people. I'd like to see some sort of high-tech expert who wants to
I would too. I'd like
to
see somebody that follows the industries.
Yeah.
The technology industries, because I missed out on the video. It really upsets me.
Yeah, so people should contact us if they think that they would like to participate in this project of ours, and we can make room for more.
How would they get a hold of us?
Bill at SantaCruzVoice.com, Michael at SantaCruzVoice.com. We're easy. Those should be easy to remember.
And there's a link on the website where you can actually fill out a form and give us a little write-up about what your show's about.
You have to be a little bit aggressive about getting yourself on the air because we can't come and get you. You have to come and get us.
Yeah, true.
And then once you get us, we'll have you.
I think I followed that.
I don't know. He lost me. He lost me somewhere in there. Well, we have about a minute and a half left. What you talked about pets? What other kinds of programming?
Like I said, high tech would be good. Surfing. Santa Cruz is known for that. We don't have a surf themed show right now. If we had a local expert, somebody who wanted to
water
have that
sports
be
or
the
outdoor
topic.
sports of any kind. Also, health.
Yeah,
we'd love to have a good health show because Santa Cruz is the world capital of alternative health.
Oh.
And I would love to have somebody do that.
I agree.
Is that official, or is this Michael deemed them the world capital?
Yes, it's Michael.
On Michael's list.
But the truth is, anything someone's knowledgeable about and has a real passion for, it could be pickleball, it could be paddleboarding. It doesn't really matter what it is. If they're interested, they'll make it interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, the best way of making it interesting is bringing in other people.
Right.
And
totally.
that, like you're doing. And that's what keeps things rolling. And it keeps the community growing, too. It's growing together.
Well, thank you, Bill, Thank you,
You're welcome.
Michael.
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Susan.
Thank you,
Tana.
Thank you for joining us. This has been Think Local First Radio here on Santa Cruz Voice. And Tam and I are on hiatus for a couple of weeks, but the show must go on, so it will. Thanks for listening.